Hey everybody, and welcome back to Pastor TK Cards. This is Pastor Tommy here with another video about my baseball cards. It's time for my weekly recap. It's been a fun week in the hobby for me. I've had a lot going on in my personal life, and everything's good, but just walking through that. Had a little bit of time this week to sort all of my 1976 tops and get that set needs list together. Trying to put 1976, 86, 96, 06, 16, and 26 together in 2026. I've got the 86 in binders. I've got the 2016 in binders. I've finished Series 1 of 2026 tops. I'm excited for that, and waiting for Series 2. And then I've got 96 and 06 in boxes. I'll have to get those put into binders. Got several packages in today when I got back into town. One was a box of supplies from BCW, and I got 3 new binders, got my top loaders reloaded, and I also got a bunch of sheets for 9 pocket pages to put into the binders. So does that excite you? Yeah, it does, because that sets that I'm going to get into binders that I'll be able to look at more freely, and I would much rather spend that money on cards, but I want to have a place where I can get to my cards easily and see the ones that I want to look at. I've got an update coming up in the next week or two on my 1973 top set. Man, I'm getting close there, and so I can't wait to finish that set. That's my birth year. That'll be the start of my run. But I actually say the start of my run, but then I got into this 1964 top set and really made a lot of progress. That's going to be the main focus of my video this week, is my cards I picked up in the 1964 tops. I knocked about 30 off of my needs list. I was right at about 150. And I need about 120 now to complete the set. And so getting excited. The binder that I've got those in is starting to look more and more full. And that's just a really cool set. I'll explain a little bit more when I show you one of the cards why 1964 Topps has always been kind of special to me since a very young age. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you some of my pickups from 1964 Topps. So when I was 8 years old, my dad was a pastor in Virginia, and one of his deacon's son had a box of baseball cards that the deacon gave to me. I don't know if the son was happy about it or not, but I was happy because I had a lot of neat cards in there. Probably really only about 60 or 70 cards, but most of them were Hall of Famers or stars, and I learned about several players that I didn't know about yet. But in those groups of cards were, I know there was a couple Mantles, and there was a 64 Pete Rose and a 64 Mantle, and I remember a good number of those cards. I've got about 10 or 12 that I remember very distinctly, and I'm starting to get some of those back. I've gotten one back so far, and actually gotten 2 back. I've got another one I'm going to show you in this video. But here's some of the pickups I had just working on this set. The leaders cards are not always the easiest to get, but I've got the American League pitching leaders, and I got that card in, number 4 in the set. Also the American League strikeout leaders, I got that. Here's a cool thing I like to do when I get a card with the leaders from older sets. I try to make sure I know who those pitchers are and what their careers were like and what was significant about them. And so been learning about a couple of these guys. Knew some of the names already, but didn't know all of them. And so here's the American League RBI leaders card. Picked up that card this week. I'm not going to show you all 30 that I got, but I'm showing you the better ones. Got 1964 Topps Hoyt Wilhelm, Hall of Famer there. One of the best knuckleball pitchers ever. And I was glad to pick up that card. Friendly Foes, William McCovey and Leon Wagner. Picked up that card. Really neat card to add to the set. Elston Howard, number 100 in the set. Picked him up. I'll be having fun later putting these in my binder. Mickey Lolich for the Tigers. Nice card there. Picked up this Hall of Famer. I actually pulled a autograph of Billy Williams out of my 2026 Topps jumbos that I opened. But Hall of Famer for the Cubs, Billy Williams. Here's another Hall of Fame pitcher. I didn't have this card in that group of cards I got. I had a 1962 Topps of Juan Marshall, but I got the 1964 Topps for the set. So glad to have that one. Then great Phillies pitcher, although he's in an Orioles uniform in this one. Robert Roberts, picked that one up. You'll see those 2 cards again in a moment, and I'll explain why. Gaylord Perry, was happy to get that card. Yeah, another great pitcher. And then I picked up a few graded cards. A couple of them are repeats. I've got the raw card and a graded card. I was able to get the raw cards fairly inexpensively, and the graded cards weren't too expensive for these guys as well, so I picked up both. But first, I've got a copy of 1964 Topps Jim Bunning in a PSA 4. A great Phillies pitcher. Was really glad to pick that up. And then I just showed you the Juan Marichal, but I went ahead and picked up this PSA 6 slab copy as well. Just a really nice eye appeal on that card. Was glad to get it for a pretty inexpensive price. Got a good deal on that one. And then also, just because he's a Phillies Hall of Famer, and I'm probably going to try to do his player run at some point, I went ahead and picked up Robin Roberts in the slab also. Then finally, the last card I'll show you this week is one that was in that group of cards in that cigar box that was given to me when I was 8 years old. And I really didn't think I'd be ready to pick this one up yet, but I found a pretty good deal on this, and I just want you to take a look at this card before I show you the grade. I really saw it. I know obviously off-centered, but man, those corners look sharp, and it just looks in really good shape. The back's in good shape. I'll tell you what I think caused it to get the grade that it got in a moment, but just a really good eye appeal card. And it's actually a PSA 2. It's a PSA 2, and I thought, man, I got this at a good price. A lot less than I would have spent on it in a 4 or 5 or 6. I really kind of wanted a 5 or 6, but I saw this and I thought, man, I just really like that card. And this is one of the this is one of the cards I had in that little group of cards that was given to me as an 8-year-old that just really burned a love for baseball cards and vintage baseball cards and older players into my heart. And I'll tell you, it's a 2, but it's in a lot better shape than the one I had. The one I had a crease right on this corner, and it was about the same on the centering, but it still looked good in my top loader, and I was glad to have it in my set. But I sold everything when I left for seminary. Thought I was going overseas to the mission field, but I am really thrilled to have this card back in my collection. Tell me what you think about the look of that card. I think obviously the centering, and then I think it's just slightly a diamond cut. It's just a little bit of a diamond cut on the back, and maybe the whole card in general. I'm not sure, but I've thought about sending it to PSA and have them review it, because man, those corners are good, the edges are good, the picture looks good. I just thought it was one of the best 2s I've ever seen on eBay. So I went ahead and picked it up, won it for a pretty good price, actually, you know, just a normal going rate for a 2. And so I'm happy with this purchase and glad to have this one knocked off the list. I still got some big boys to go in that 64 set, but I really enjoyed adding this one to the collection. One, for the 64 top set, of course, for Hall of Fame card of one of the greatest of all time, and then really the GOAT of the hobby, right? I don't consider Mantle the greatest player of all time. He's certainly in the conversation of the greatest players of all time. But when it comes to tops in the hobby, he certainly is the most iconic and the one that gets the most attention. But really the reason I love having this card is it's one of those cards that I had at one time, and then I sold to be ready to go overseas and serve the Lord. The Lord led me to serve him here stateside for the most part. Still love taking mission trips pretty regular. Been a lot of places in the world. But to have this card back in my collection was just a joy to me, and one that I will cherish for a long time, and grateful to have it. What's some cards that you used to have that you wish you still had, or that you would hope you could have again? Or maybe some cards that when you were younger you thought, man, it'd be awesome to own one of them, but your budget was near to zero and you have a little bit better budget now. What's a card that you'd love to add to your collection that at one time seemed like an impossibility, but now might be a possibility? I just hope you enjoyed checking out the cards, and we'll see you next time.